Most amazing day ever. Probably not ever, like my wedding day was quite cool and the day my children were born, but in Give a Brick terms, one of the most amazing days ever. As I'm so excited. And I just can't, not that I can't be bothered to write it all down, I just can't get the words out of my fingers fast enough. A couple of weeks ago, I told you about the meeting that we'd had with Redrow, where they basically had said they were going to give us all the breeze blocks for the annex at the community centre in Cross Hands. As a bare minimum, and there was a potential they might do the rest of the project for us or do bits of it or help us out or whatever. Well, nothing's kind of set in stone yet, no pun intended, but at 5:30 yesterday afternoon I had a phone call from Barry from Redrow, and he said he'd done us a little favour. I was like, all right, okay, lovely. And he said they'd had the directors there, and the directors had given him permission to get a machine over there and clear all the back of the annex. This area down here, which is currently, that's the old toilet. Oh, there's somebody in there. I'm just doing a little short video to go on YouTube. Just say hello, Joe. That's the current toilet, where the flush isn't working, which is outside. This is the garden at the minute, which will be turned into a parking area. Right, so you saw the back of the toilet. You saw there where my lovely brother Joe, we caught him in the middle of spending a penny or whatever. Well, you've seen all that mess. Okay, you now need to see it today. How amazing is that? And I was just completely flabbergasted. I mean, it's huge. They just completely cleared the whole area, just completely blown away. They just did it, just to be kind and wonderful and be helpful and fantastic, and it's just amazing. I showed the little video clip that you've just seen. I showed it to my mum and dad, and they both cried, bless them, because they were just completely overwhelmed by it all. It's just amazing. And today for me, there's been so much stuff going on, because that isn't the end of it. They also talked about how they're going to dig out bits and put like topsoil on the bit down the side that's all messy, and talking about, well, basically I told them how much money Give a Brick have got for this, because we need 50 grand for this, to make the shell watertight, and he was like, 50 grand? It won't cost me 50 grand to do that. And I said, well look, can you give us a quote then? How much would it cost Redrow to do that for us? Because obviously it's going to be a lot more competitive. He said, if Redrow do it for you, they won't charge you anything. And in my head I'm going, what? Okay then, yeah, there you go, then that'd be so cool. So that's not completely off the cards yet. It's not a done deal. They haven't said yes by any stretch of the imagination. But he's going to talk to his salespeople, and maybe it's a real possibility. So if you're the one who kind of like prays and stuff, keep praying, because it's working. They're just so, God is moving their hearts to really, really cool stuff, and it's just so awesome. But if that doesn't happen, they've got people on site then who kind of do hobbles and do stuff to help people out. So there's the potential that we could do this build for a lot less than the £100,000 that we initially thought we'd have to raise for this project. And the brilliant thing about that is it means then that every single penny that we don't spend on this project, we can then use for our next project. And I've learned stuff today as well. So there's all that really cool stuff that's happened. And my legs are going to sleep, sorry. There's all that really cool stuff that's happened. But it's also made me see that actually doing this whole thing in phases is a really, really good model for doing it. So wherever our next project happens to be, whatever it is, if it's something big like this, where you're talking about a huge building, I really do believe that actually doing it in phases is just completely perfect. Because my dad was the one who came up with the tagline for Give a Brick, making the impossible possible. And I saw that in action today, because if you hadn't given the money and just been so generous and kind, if you hadn't given that money and we hadn't done those foundations and we hadn't got that blockwork up there, that concrete that I stood on and showed you around, if that hadn't been there and that great big banner hadn't been there but talking about Give a Brick, then Redrow, when they moved in, they wouldn't have a clue what was going on. They wouldn't have wanted to help us, because it'd just been like, well, it's just a mess, there's nothing, not doing anything. But because you gave that money and you helped us and you supported us, Give a Brick really has made the impossible possible. Yes, it's looking like Redrow are going to help us out, so they're really, really been really kind as well. But it wouldn't have been possible without you and without what Give a Brick is doing, and it just completely blows me away. So I do think it's a really good model, and we'll be doing that again. you know, rather than thinking about trying to raise this huge sum of money, think about it in little stages first, because then when you get the first bit done, it shows that you're doing stuff, and it then kind of like compels other people to get involved and help in that. So that was a really good lesson to learn today, so I can appreciate that as well. But aside from all that, I just think it's so exciting because this guy was thanking me, let me get this right now, yeah, he was thanking me for letting them help us. Like they built this wall at the side of the church, because this wall was falling down, and it's, oh, thank you so much for letting us do that wall. And I'm like, well, you know, it'd be like as if, well, I just, you know, well, of course you carry on, like, you know, it's fantastic. And he said, oh, well, you know, and he was thanking me for our support, and oh, it's just mad, complete. In one sense, it's just impossible, you know, it's just completely impossible this should happen today, and it did. And that's thanks to people like you. For every single person who's ever tweeted anything and said hello, or how you doing, or, you know, read this post, or for every single little bit of encouragement that you've given me personally, and also you can give a break as a charity as well, that today is about thanking you as well, because it's just really cool and really awesome, and I'm just so excited. And I do believe now actually that we can get this first project done by Christmas. Also leads me on to what our next project is. We do need to find our next project. I have no idea where it's going to be yet. I'll put a link at the bottom of the written post to our video, because we want video applications. We want people to tell us what to do next. We've got a few little small projects that we've supported, but we need our next big project to get our teeth into. So we're on the lookout for that as well. But oh my gosh, it's just been fab. It's just been brilliant. And yeah, it's been a really, really, really fun day. And I just want to thank you. Thank you for being with us thus far on the journey, because yeah, it's been really, really fun, and I can't wait to see what we do next. And that's it really. Have a fabulous weekend, and thank you so much. Give a break, making the impossible possible.